Yeah, I respect that, bro.
Oh, thank you.
Well, Nadya has
Now we're gonna turn this over to Nadia.
because
We're
this
gonna
is
call
her this is her
my area.
this is your domain,
Yeah,
the indie domain.
We're gonna turn this over to her. We're gonna let her shine on this. Go ahead, you let it go, girl.
Okay. So hey guys, Gotham Geek Girl here. I actually started my site maybe in like 2015, 2016, and one of my inspirations was women in comics. Um, so I've met a lot of artists over the years at conventions, and I was like, oh, this would be really dope to like focus on indie creators, and especially on Black and Brown creators, queer creators, and a lot of creators that are definitely underrepresented. So we'd like to get their voices heard and be a support system and help creators get their work out. And one of the best things is like at conventions, at Artist Alley, you can meet people and network and speak to each other. But I also learned about many independent conventions. So there's so many festivals that you can go to where you can support creators of color. Um, and a lot of these events also have like workshops, panels, cosplay showcases, and a lot of interaction. So they're great events, and a lot of them are kid friendly as well. So some of the events that I annually attend are Wink Woman in Comics Con, Schaumburg Black Comic Book Festival, BAM Black Comic Expo, and Chem Comic Book Fest. Um, One of the creators I'm going to focus on is Regine Sawyer. She's become a good friend over the years. She's amazing. She's a writer. She's also the founder of Women in Comics, Wink for short. And it's an artistic initiative that began in 2012. And they like to highlight and focus on, um, women, queer folks, and people in the comic book and multimedia industry. Um, and maybe I'll go like into the events first, and then can I kind of get into some of the artists?
No, you do what you got to do.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So another event that I go to is Schaumburg from co-founder DJ Holman. Also along with Jerry Kraft, John Jennings, Black Kirby, Jonathan Gales, and Georgia State University. So Schaumburg Center, if you guys are from New York City, it's in Harlem, and it's at the library, and every year they have a festival which celebrates Black comics, featuring panel discussions, film screenings, cosplay showcases, and artists from around the world. Then there's BAM, which is the Brooklyn Academy of Music. BAM in Brooklyn, the Black Comic Expo. And the last one was really cool. They had like an Afrofeminism VR experience. That's also from founder and creator of the Black Comics Collective, DJ Holman. And then there's also ChemFest, which is in Newark, New Jersey. This was founded in 2014 by creator and educator Nasid Gifted. And this is really great because it's also helping education and STEM, so like science, and like programming for schools. And they're actually going to have the 6th annual ChemFest coming up virtually September 19th and 20th. So make sure to tune into that. And then, do you want me to kind of get into some of the creators now?
Yeah, sure. Let's get into some of the creators that you've dealt with and that you know. So it can bring light to these guys, and let's give them a little shine, and let's see if we can get everybody out there to support them.
Cool. So yeah, so like I was saying, like over the years, aside from the big cons like New York Con, it's really important to go to these smaller festivals because these are the creators that really need our support. Like, of course, we support like the big names like you mentioned, but these are the guys that really need like the help to get their name out. And like, there's so many ways you can help. You don't, if you can't necessarily buy things, you can always help by spreading word, sharing their artwork. And a lot of these artists actually have Kickstarters. So that's a really important way to help get independent comics out. And let me, one artist that I met was Robin Smith. She's from, I think she's from New York. She's best known for her mini comic, The Saddest, Angriest Black Girl in Town. And she illustrated Jamila Rouser's comic, Wash Day.
Yes.
So this was a comic about helping Black females be comfortable in their own skin and be comfortable with their hair and knowing that they're beautiful.
Yeah,
so it's like, these are the kind of things that like we need to get out there. We need young girls to read and know that they're characters that they can look like, that exist. So that was really cool to see. And Robin's actually doing really big. Like right now, she's doing a cover for DC Comics Nubia, which is Wonder Woman's sister.
Yeah.
So there's going to be a young adult graphic novel coming out.
You know what, Nadia?
So it's like,
I'm
sorry, what?
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was going to say, thank you for bringing that up. We forgot to say, like, Jamila is a really good friend of Justin's.
Black Jose Press is her publishing company. I was about to, it slipped my mind. I was about to, I forgot to mention her. So, yes, Wash Day. She also has Black Jose Press, which is her, I think she founded that publishing, which specializes in comics and merchandise for Black and brown women. So definitely check that out. She's on Instagram at Black Jose Press. You guys can follow Jamila over there as well.
Because what's really crazy is when we started the Otakus and Geeks, she was already
girl. Oh my
Geek
God.
Girl going
Girl Going Geek.
Girl Going Geek, and I remember when
we started at the same time.
Yeah, and I remember
that's awesome.
I remember when she shut down that.
Yeah, she shut down because she pursued this.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow, it's. We want to give a shout out if you hear us, Jamila.
Full shout. Yeah. So sorry, forgot you.
Yeah, blame that one on Justin. That had nothing to do with this one.
Slipped my mind.
Yeah, but congratulations to you and everything you've done. It's kind of funny how people you start with.
No, it's always funny because me and her, it's always been parallel. It's like the same path, would just take the same destination, would just take the different path of getting there, which is crazy. Yeah.
And the fact that you're highlighting that, Nadia, like that tells us you're really deep into that indie circuit. Like,
yeah, she's awesome.
So
Robin Smith is the artist and Jamila Rouse is the writer, and they've done a few things together. Wash Day, The Saddest, Angriest Black Girl in Town, and I think they're actually working on another project together.
Yeah, I think it's called. Oh my God, what's it called?
And Jamila also has
Wobbly 3000, something like that.
Yeah, Wobbly 3000.
Yeah.
And then Jamila also has Mañana Latin Comics, Latin X Comics for the 25th century. It's going to be a new anthology of Latin sci-fi comics. So there's a Kickstarter for that now, actually.
So,
well, shout out to Jamila. And by the way, congrats.
Anybody else you want to bring into light that we can go into, or?
So also Vida Ayala, she's killing it. She goes by they. Vida is a comic writer creator. She's written for Black Max Studios, DC, Dynamite, IDW, Image, Marvel, Serial Box, Valiant, Vault. Vida is killing it. They has a creator-owned book, The Wilds, which was published through Black Max Studios, and then Submerged from Vault Comics. Also was on Livewire and on the reboot of Xena. So Vida is absolutely killing it and someone you definitely have to be on their radar. And are you guys familiar with Ashley A. Woods?
I've heard of her.
I haven't.
Wait, Ashley Woods?
Ninja Trip?
Is she an artist by the chance?
Yeah, she goes by Ninja Trip.
I think she's the one that drew Niobe.
Niobe, yep.
Yeah.
So she was another artist that I wanted to highlight. She's from Chicago. She's been on Lady Castle, Tomb Raider. She started through self-publishing her own action fantasy comic, Millennia War. So she's done so many things. She's also an artist that I met at a few conventions, and she was super sweet. I think I saw her at the BAM Fest, not last year, but the year before. But yeah, she's awesome. She's also like a major killer in comics right now. Oh, she actually just did something for Lovecraft Country.
Oh wow.
Yo, I love that show. Like, enough people don't watch that. They really need to get into that show. Lovecraft Country is the bomb. And if you haven't watched it, listen, get HBO Max, just trust me. Or like if you already have HBO, just go back and binge this. This is a really good show.
And I feel like I talked about a lot of females. Can I get into some of the guys too?
Yeah,
go ahead.
So another comic artist that I've befriended over the years, because I go to Kari Randolph's Drink and Draw.
Mm-hmm.
And so many comic artists go there, and it's a super like friendly environment, no judgment. Everybody just goes to draw, hang out. And I befriended a lot of friends over the years that I see at conventions. So I'm talking in like the last like maybe like 5 to 10 years, I've known some of these people. And Javier Cruz Winnick is an artist writer for The Learning Curve, which was like a children's book about a little Puerto Rican girl. So it's another it's another thing that like we need more of, like young characters of color, and like written by people of color, and things they actually experience and things that are real to them. And he was also a contributor to the Eisner winner best anthology Puerto Rico Strong. And if you guys are familiar with Edgardo for La Boriqueña, Javier also was a part of the Reconstruction book, which was a book a lot of Puerto Rican creators put together to help raise funds for Puerto Rico.
Let's clap it up for that man for doing this thing, doing this part from Puerto Rico.
Here we go. Sorry, I have so many people to shout out.
That is no problem.
There is also Jerome Walford. He's a writer artist, and he has his own publishing company based in Brooklyn, New York, Forward Comics. And he definitely is like a visionary. He has a book I picked up a few years ago, Guan Anthology, and there's actually a second one out now. So this anthology represents over 30 artists representing 15 countries from around the world. And it highlights and celebrates comic creators that produce work with a sense of like an immigrant experience. And it expresses like the joys and challenges of that journey. And it also has like genres of sci-fi, fantasy, with real and imagined experiences of immigration.
Mm-hmm.
And that actually won a gold medal of excellence, and was nominated for the Glyph Comic Awards and top fiver of the year 2016.
Wow. No, we've taken it out there. There's a lot of artists. And you know what's funny is I did forget about somebody who really does a lot for Victor Cruz. Victor has put out a new animated series on his Instagram and YouTube called Tita. And I mean, it's a hilarious series. And he's another Latin artist that's out there doing his thing for his community. Victor is a great actor, writer, producer. He's an acting teacher, and he's out there like doing it for his community and a lot of people out there. So, showing this out there, I do want to give a shout out to Victor Cruz, and definitely. I want everybody to sit out there and check out, if you can, to Victor Cruz Films, and if you check out Tita, it's a hilarious cartoon. If anybody else hasn't seen it, you've got to watch some of the episodes that she gets into. It really does make you laugh, and he has his merchandise out there. So I just wanted to put that out there before Nadya continues, and because you're doing a great job with this, because there were people I had no idea that were out there that existed. And I'm like, Jesus, like I don't understand. We have so many talented people out there. We should be killing. You
haven't scratched the surface.
Yeah,
yet.
We should be killing the industry at this point.
You haven't scratched the surface. It's a lot of them.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let you continue with that. Go ahead.
Yeah. There was another. Okay, so Sabrina Centron. She's a Puerto Rican artist from Connecticut. And she also, her first professional illustration job was actually to pencil La Boriqueña. So that was pretty big. And she's also since then worked on other projects like John Leguizamo has his own comic, Free Comics. And she was also part of the DC Comics Reconstruction, which raised the funds for Puerto Rico. And now she also has original artworks. Her first art book, The Witch's Grimoire, which is also available to purchase.
Wow, we covered a lot in that. Like, this was more than I actually thought we were going to cover. You know how, like, you only highlight, like, 5 or 6 people, but you really bought it for that one, because there were a lot of people I'm like, damn, I didn't.
Yeah, there's so many.
She's naming them, and I'm just like, oh, I can't remember them off the top of the head, but I know who she's talking about. I'm like, oh, wow.
These are a lot of great people that people have met at cons and got a chance to talk to. Some people I've gotten a chance to talk to and sat with, but, you know, to sit down and just highlight that these are artists that, you know, I hope we all support, because without that support, a lot of our stories won't get out there. Yeah. You know, because I see a lot of people when they complain about a lot of the Egyptian movies, like, okay, like they're, you know, these Egyptian movies aren't realistic depictions of us,
gods and kings.
Yeah, gods, which wasn't a bad movie. It's just that I think a lot of people were, which another movie Chadwick was in, which people don't realize. It's like, it's a good movie, but they're just like, oh, they feel like it's been so whitewashed, and that's what it is. I mean, but you also got to understand, we have to support a lot of these independent artists, in order for them to get the chance to go out there, because, you know,
like, did you see the meme, like, people complaining, like, there was some meme that, like, people that are like, you obviously don't read comics, because people are like, oh, there's no black comic book characters, and we're like, somebody made like a meme, like, showing like tons of characters, and we're like, you guys only follow
if they're
Marvel
mainstream,
and DC,
exactly.
The mainstream, and even they do have some characters, but the point is that, like, people need to stop complaining and saying that there's none of it when you don't support it. Like, I know so many people that, like, not to call people out, but, like, say, like, we'll go to a comic convention and nobody will walk to Artist Alley, and it's like, if you're gonna keep buying the Superman, like, you're not supporting the indie. So you can't say that, like, black creators don't exist, because you're ignoring them.
I'll be honest. The last year I didn't go to Comic Artist Alley, which I usually do, but I felt I was overdressed and I didn't feel like walking through the sauna, because I think New York Comic Con really did it a disservice packing them into that small room, because it was,
I miss the old hangar.
It was so hot that I was just like, look, do I want to breathe, or do I want to interview somebody and bring that comic to life? Like, I don't know how my body is going to react to all this heat. And so I was like, I'm going to let somebody else.
It was downstairs.
Yeah, but they packed it into the small.
Yeah, that was the worst when they moved it down.
You know, I think the hangar was under construction. When they had it at the hangar, it was so open.
The best. Oh my God.
Like, you can walk around it. Even when they had it on the second floor upstairs, when they had it at the top floor, I shouldn't say second or third floor, where it used to be the press room. When they had it up there, I was just like, okay, you know, like, this is cool. You can walk around. The hangar, I think, is the best part, that they need to keep it over there, because it's spread out and you can go there, you can spend some time talking to the artists and enjoy it. Now it's like, if I'm in there for 5 minutes and my shirt feels like I just stepped out of a pool, I got to get out of there, you know? And it's a nice thing, and I do agree with you. People will sit down. It's like anything. Even when we're doing this, people will support it the minute it shows up on TV, and somebody says, hey,
or a celebrity shouts it out.
Yeah, like, hey, we got these guys out here bringing, like, the comic books and this and that. All of a sudden, everybody who wouldn't support your show 3 or 4 months ago, all of a sudden, like, hey, you know, they're out of the woodworks. You know, a lot of the things that you highlighted, a lot of these artists are already working in the mainstream and are doing some of your favorite comic books. It's just that you have no idea who they are. And you're not, you know, all of a sudden when you do find out who they are, all of a sudden you want to run back and grab all their old stuff. And then say, like, hey, look.
Try to act like you was down.
Yeah, I was down the entire time. But that's not it, you know. There's a video game host, Aaron Ashley Simmons, who I think Jerrell was there with me when we met at a video game event for esports. And I've been following her. We've been following her on Otakus Geeks. And she said something one day. She said, if you like something, there's nothing wrong with supporting it. Like, if you really think something is cool, just support it. You don't need the world to tell you to support it. Just support it. If your friends do something and you like it, support it. There's nothing
Yeah, like
wrong with that.
those memes, like people will be so quick to get the new Yeezys or to like do this, but they won't like support any of their friends.
It's that, and that's the struggle. I mean, I think Jerrell can also attest to that struggle, and Sean as well. I mean, and just the struggle of being indie at the same time. It's just like you put your product out there. You do everything that you have to do, and like you just said, you have people close to you or your friends like, oh, that looks hot. And then you look at your sales and you're just like, yeah, I ain't buy it. Like, what
And I'm
WTF?
going to point that out too. I interviewed Justin a couple years ago. He has a comic, Cry Hero, which is like
thanks.
24 awesome.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And I said that, like, when he came out, he was like, you know, like, oh, he put it out there. And I was just like, yeah, I don't have a problem with buying it. I said, because it doesn't, I read the comic before he put it out, but I had no problem putting my money up to support him with it, because it doesn't matter whether I read it. I don't need, my clout doesn't have to be, well, I know Justin, I got to read it for free. You know, like
a lot of people.
It doesn't have to be that. My thing is, the money I put into his comic book helps him make another one.
Yeah, of course.
And makes another one.
Yep.
And it's the same thing with any of you guys here. If you're doing something, the support I give helps you make another one. Like, my pride doesn't have to be, oh, you know, and also you have to watch out for people who do support you, because some people will be there like, well, I supported you from the beginning. Like,
oh yeah,
what you gonna do for me? No, like, if I'm gonna
yes.
support you,
oh yeah, I've been there.
yeah, if I'm gonna support you, I'm gonna support you because I think your work is good, and I want to watch you shine. Because I think a lot of people don't do that. Watch your friends shine. You know, Jerrell put some stuff out, and I think a lot of people don't sit down like, oh, you know, like, is he gonna, you know, they're probably looking at it like, oh, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna put out? Yeah. You know, and I'm like, no, but why don't you help support him and watch him sign? I mean, first of all, let's think of something. Master P put out I Got the Hook Up. He put out his first movie was I'm About It. And, and that movie looked like it was shot on like not even a Canon film. It wasn't even shot on a phone. It looked like somebody had like one of those cheap
old school JVC cameras.
Yeah, and shot it. And yet,
probably did.
And yet that movie became such a underground hit that nobody could deny it. And I mean, he put stuff out just because. And people didn't pick it up. And I'm going to tell you, I got that movie from Blockbuster. That movie somehow made it to the shelves of Blockbuster. And people, all of a sudden, after he became a platinum selling artist, started following his movies and his exploits. Yeah. And then people started trying to recreate that. And then he did I Got the Hook Up. And then he did a whole bunch of other movies. And then he did his own thing. Don't wait until, if you like it and you think it's hot, follow it now. Support that person now.
And I just also want to, this is not in a comic realm though, but just as on the topic of independent creators, I definitely got to give a shout out to Arthel. I think I pronounced it wrong. Azom. I'm folks, if you haven't noticed, I'm really bad with names. But he is the first black-owned major anime studio in Japan. So that's something to just to highlight. And it's so funny because I was looking for like someone to do cutscenes for Heart to Heart just to tease it, and I came across, I was like in the anime studio, and his thing popped up back in the day. So I just wanted to just definitely give him a shout out as well, because that's, for me, major, just to have this black a black person who actually owns an anime studio and just does anime. I think that's just something that just worthy of highlighting.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, even for me, like with my project, like I'm not even asking for money at this point. Like I just want people to watch it. You know, like my whole thing is like I'm not going door to door. Like I didn't do an Indiegogo, you know, like, or a Kickstarter. I'm just like, hey, I made a trailer for an action film that I created, I wrote myself. Just watch it.
And I think the stigma, and I think everybody who does indies and people that we named as well will tell you that one of the main challenges of being indie is getting eyes on your product. Yeah. Like a lot of indie people stay indie because they don't want to deal with the corporate system. Yeah. Like I can tell you straight up, like if you do something that I don't like, I had people ask me before, like, why didn't you go to Image? Why didn't you pitch it to this? Why didn't you pitch it to this? Why didn't you pitch it to DC and stuff like this? Like, because I don't want my creativity. Yeah. I don't want somebody to say, hey, we'll put your stuff out there, but we got to take this chunk, and then, or this can't be done this way. And I think that's why a lot of, like, for anybody listening out there who's also in the indie boat, this is the perfect time to release your projects. I don't care what it is. Doesn't have to be comics. Doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be comics. Could be games. By the way, shout out to CyB Gaming, Keenan. Shout out to him.
Yo, if you guys are not getting that Far Rock Dodgeball game, you got problems. That game is fire.
If you from Far Rock and you ain't getting Far Rock Dodgeball, I don't know what to tell you. I've seen clips that he hasn't released yet. I've seen gameplay. Just apologize to the Bronx. Some people might be mad with the Bronx level, but it is what it is. But just wanted to give a shout out to Keenan as well. But back to what I was saying.
Yeah. No, but you right about that.
Yeah, because it's the hardest thing is not only, it's just that a lot of indies, I talked to a lot of indie people too. It's just like you don't want your creativity hampered by someone in the system being like, oh, we're going to put your products out there. You'll sell this much units, but since it's my money going in, I have say on how you're going to create it.
Well, that's why you gotta have, like, if you're ever fortunate to have one of those meetings with a studio, you have to have your list of scripts that you don't care about.
Yes.
And the ones that you do care about. Because I have so many story ideas I could pitch to somebody right now, and I don't care what you do with it.
Exactly.
Like I recently, I came up with this story. It's about like an old power plant that was out in the woods, and it got shut down because, it was like poorly kept, and like the chemicals started like seeping into like the forest and into the wood area. 3 years later, this black couple ends up buying property next to where the power plant used to be, and they bought it specifically so they can grow marijuana on it. So they grow all their marijuana, like they got this whole marijuana thing. They start, selling it. But the first night they're like, okay, we're in business. They take the marijuana and they smoke it themselves just to celebrate. So what happens is, because of the chemicals, whenever they smoke the marijuana, it gives them superpowers for the temporary time that they're high. But the thing is, they don't know
that they're high.
Yeah, that they're high and they have superpowers. So they just wake up the next day and they don't know what happened. And I'm like, I can have that one,
So you don't care about that, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna take that.
So we're gonna have to say we're gonna copyright that. That sounds like an excellent idea.
Yeah,
I think we could all help with
Yeah,
that.
And speaking of magic words, before we move on, you just said the magic words. I just definitely want to get this out there and stress this to any indie creator out there. I cannot stress this enough. Copyright.gov is going to be your best friend. Stop putting your stuff out there if you do not own it. Anybody can screenshot it, send it to the copyright office, and it's theirs. Don't matter if you got, this is they copyrighted before you. Stop putting your stuff out there. Make sure you copyright it. Save up some money, trademark your names. You have to own your stuff. And then when the big boys come knocking, don't sell it to them. You license it to them. That way you still own it, but they get to use it, but you still get money from it. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
Yep. Which is why a lot of people have not seen my T-shirt collection, because I'm like, everything's not ready. And if I put out something that's fire, I don't want somebody to be like, yep, I'm going to copyright that because I like that fire. But for anybody out there, I will soon be putting out a T-shirt line, strictly geek inspired. And, I'm going to try to put everything out there and get everything together where COVID kind of set everything back. But, and what's funny about that is, I want to say, like, what's crazy is the only way, and I was talking to Justin about this, is if you want to put something out there and you want people to look at it, what's funny is you have to find girls to wear your stuff.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden,
sadly, booth babes.
Yeah, it's like all of a sudden everybody will pay attention to it. And I sit down and say, okay, I like this shirt. I mean, there are shirts that I bought that wasn't based off of some girl wearing, because I'm a guy. Like, if it looks good on her, it's not gonna look the same on me. I'm like, look, there's a problem if I'm like, I'm gonna buy that shirt because she looks good in it. No, like, it's gonna be different on me. But I want to sit down and say, like, if you're doing something, like, support it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
don't wait till the hottest chick in the game is wearing something like that and to sit down and say. And when I say hottest chick in the game, it doesn't matter whether it's rap, rock, or geek. Like, I don't want to, like, for some people to go out there, it's like, I don't want to see, like, the hottest cosplayers finally putting your stuff on and people going, oh, that's fire. No, like, it was fire before they put it on.
I mean, that actually kind of happened to us with Otakus Geeks when it first started. It was when I first started this thing, it was just like, oh, well, I don't know why you're doing a blog. It's just a waste of time. Yeah. Everybody took notice the minute I did my first interview with Kim Cattrall from Sex and the City. That's when everybody was just like, oh shit, he's serious.
Yeah.
And then Don Cheadle came. Then Mike Tyson, Quincy Jones, and the names just kept dropping. Then everybody's just like, "Oh shit!
Yeah.
Oh, can I come? Can I join?
Yeah,
Oh, I
yeah.
want to write for you guys. Can I do?" But it's always like, why do I have to bring someone famous, or why do I have to bring this, or have somebody endorse you for you to take note?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to prove that you're serious. About
Exactly,
it.
and that's the main problem with indies.
What annoyed me is that we started hitting up certain parties, and I remember arguing with Justin like, "Yo, we gotta go." He's like, "I don't want to go to this. Like, what's the point?" I'm like, "Yo, just trust me. We'll just go and we'll show our face and we'll do whatever." And then we end up meeting people there that are like big name people, and then we're sitting there like we're taking pictures just because it's there. We're like, okay, we're gonna show the studio a PR person that gave us the opportunity to go there. We were at the party, and we put it up. We post them. Now people are like, well, why you didn't invite me? Why would I invite you?
Yeah.
Like, this is a press event. Like, I'm not going there to like you're going there to try to meet somebody. I'm going there to cover this and go home.
Like this is work.
Yeah, exactly. But support everybody. So we've hit the 1 hour mark. So we're gonna wrap this up on the last segment of this. We're gonna.
Can I just say one more real?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, I forgot to mention ways to support Peep Game Comics, Comixology, and Kickstarters.
Yes.
Everybody take notice of that, because later if you hear the show, I don't know how to support them. She just laid it out for you. So going into our last segment, we're gonna do